To another session of Khoj Gurbani. Ravinder Singh here, joining you from Columbus.
ਹਾਂਜੀ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕਾ ਖਾਲਸਾ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕੀ ਫਤਿਹ. So this is, I think, the fifth presentation, and I really enjoyed all the previous ones because there was so much to learn, and everyone has their different experience and perspectives. So I will share what my understanding about Naam is today. This will be mostly related from whatever is written in Gurbani and whatever I have understood from there. So there is on page 494, there is a quotation, Pankti says, Jana Nanak Bole Gunbani, Gurbani Harinam Samaya, which means that the Gurbani is nothing but the essence of the Naam. So how the Naam is put in Gurbani is then the other issue, but certainly Gurbani contains Naam in it. And what different type of Naams, how they are related to each other, we'll try to understand that in the whole of the presentation. So I find that the whole of Gurbani is a riddle because in the last paragraph, when Pancham Pasha says Thal vich tin vastu payo, it's a riddle. And we're not sure about what tin means so far. So it is different people come with different perspective. So it is a riddle depending upon how much experience, how much understanding, how much another you have. You approach that way. So this is a simple Shabad from Bhagat Ravidas. He says, Naam tera diva, naam tero bati, naam tero terle mahe pasare. So everything is Naam actually. When you ask about the lamp is a Naam, the wick which is connecting the oil to the flame is also Naam, then the oil in itself is Naam. So the words are not put in a very straight fashion. The words are put in slightly more for us to understand and explore as a form of riddle, I feel. And there are heaps of such riddles which we need to solve with the help of Gurbani from within Gurbani. So Naam as such is a noun. So it comes with different forms because Gurbani is not only, they say, Naad, it was heard as a Naad and it was put in a form of a Vaid. So it has rules of languages, and our language is, especially Gurmat, is using Gurbani as a mode of instruction. Gurbani is also, Dasam Pasha says, Bedbani. So it's also Gurbani, and it has some rules. We're just going through Naam, comes in three different forms. Generally, Naam with the Mukta, Naam with an Onkar, Naam with the Sihari. There's also another word used now, and then Nai. Then there is also another special word which is Nav. This is nothing but the plural form of now. And Naam, yeah, as you see that Naam never comes with an Onkar because it's always plural, and it has never come with a Sihari. It only comes 26 times. More than half the time it comes as Nav, means boat. And then at few places it comes as Gun, because it is a Gunbani. Balhari jaun jete tere naam hai. How many virtues you have, I don't know, but my mind is sacrificing or is in respect to all of that. Hum warne kurban tere naam no. You don't have one naam as such. So it gives some sort of indication that you can't reduce the word naam to some very like one word or something. There are heaps of naams. They represent some sort of virtues, and we need to understand those virtues. If we understand those virtues, then we need to inculcate those virtues within us. So same way the word Nama comes 259 times, and there is a Pankti which says Pargat Pahara Japada Sab Nama no Partapda. The virtues of Parbrahm are radiant and manifest. We could see that anyone from all faiths have seen it, and everyone longs for those virtues. There is a Pauri number 3 in Japji where all these things are further explored, that how people are seeing that now around them. So some are Saj Karitan Ke, some is Jile Firday. They are two different sort of ideologies. Some says that the body stays here until the day of judgment. The other says no, it straightway goes into the next incarnation. So someone think it is close, someone think it's dur. These are all those name. These are all the guns which some other faiths have accepted. So everyone has accepted something, may not be in a complete form, but they all have something to say. So, in conclusion, with these things, I'll say that to grasp clearly about the Gurmat Naam, we need to understand, or what I think understanding means Jap, Gurbani in its entirety, using the technique of Shabad Vichar. Because every Shabad is written to put something in us, to increase our wisdom towards Naam. And how we put that riddle together depends upon how much we have researched, how much another, what company. So all these are varying factors, but we should have some common themes still at the end. If we are trying to understand it deeply, we should all reach at a very common sort of understanding. Now, the first thing we have discussed this even in the last, that Naam has been used as a nomenclature for Brahm. And it has been indicated in both Dasam Granth and also within Gurbani that Kirtam Naam Kathe Tere Jehba. Kirtam Naam is a plural, that there are so many naams been described by the different faiths through their wisdoms. Sat Naam Tera Para Purbala, but it says that the word Sat in itself, Sat is not conjugated with Naam here, Sat is independent. That the word Sat in itself is that Naam which is describing your form when nothing was there. It is Ad Sach. When the creation was not there, this name is coming from that. All other names which we are studying further will have started from Jugad Sach. When people have seen your actions, which Dasam Pasha says, Tav Sarv Naam Katha Kavan. He says no one can say your names in entirety. It's very hard. It's impossible. But I will say some. Karam Naam Barnat Sumad. Whatever wisdom I have, I will try to explain those. And the jap just carries all those names. Then, as per Gurbani, we see that it is a Brahm Gyan, and there are different forms of Brahm as explained within Gurbani. One is a Brahma, which is, if you go through the context, it refers to our man or the outer consciousness. Then there is a Brahm, which is the inner consciousness, which is Mool. Then there's a Puran Brahm, which is now like an integrated Brahm in which the outer conscious has merged into the inner consciousness. And the last has been referred as a Par Brahm, which is a unified, integrated Brahm as an army, like it's a ocean. So this is the best ever described by Dasam Pasha in Dasam Granth. Anek hain, although they are different, fir ek hain, but they are all unified. They are integrated, they are separate, but in the end, they are all is one entity. That's how he has explained this riddle to us through his understanding. So this is a basic map of human consciousness. I have, I think, shown that before. So if you try to understand the Brahm, there is two parts to Brahm and Brahma. There's a lower outer consciousness, then there is an inner consciousness. When you become Puran Brahm, you are basically fully illuminated. There is no doubt in you. Then you become a part of the Sukh Sagar. And that's how I think the mapping, as per my understanding, there's two places, Sukh Sagar and Bhav Sagar. Sukh Sagar is bigger, Bhav Sagar is within Sukh Sagar. And in Bhavsagar, the souls are separated. We all have our different minds. That's why we are not united. But in Suksagar, we don't have a mind left. We have only the pure mind. The impure mind is gone. So ultimately, they're all united. These are some of the definitions from within Gurbani, that Par Brahm has been referred as a Par Brahm Sukh Sagro, that Par Brahm is a part of Sukh Sagar. Nanak Sad Balhar, Nanak is always sacrificing towards them, or Nanak is bowing in front of these Shabad. Par Brahm is as a Shabad Roop. Puran Brahm, which is a single entity, but has same virtues as Par Brahm, but he's here to explain what is happening, uh, what is the whole scenario, how the world is created, how the Jeev comes here. The whole history of the soul has been explained to us by the Puran Brahm, because Puran Brahm is considered as a father, but Par Brahm is considered as a grandfather. I have not seen the birth of my father, but my grandfather has seen it. So any answers will come from Par Brahm regarding that. Then Brahm, Sagal Samu Le Udre Nanak, Puran Brahm Pachata. The Puran Brahm has a capacity to give advice to all the faiths in the world. Sagal Samu, whosoever, whatever, that's what Gurbani gives advice to basically all faiths which were uh, before you can say Sikhism was born, or before Gurmat came. They have commented, and they have tried to give them udre. Udre is in a positive sense. You tell them what are the problems with this faith, how you gonna clean them up. Then Brahm is Babba Brahm Janat. Te Brahma is within us, but Brahma has to know. So this is what Jap is all about. Janat means to have a knowledge about our own Brahma. So Brahma has to do this when he is in Bhavsagar, to know that who is Brahm. And then Kabirji has put in a riddle form, Brahma Badda ke Jasupaya. He says we need to define who was born later. Was Brahma born later, or was Brahm born later? So it's the answer is that Brahma is born from Brahm. So the order is Brahma is like a son, Brahm is like his father. Then we have Puran Brahm, which is a complete state when the son is within the you can say direction of his father. The mind is within the mool, and then Par Brahm is that entire Shabad who is running the whole of the universe with its wisdom and ideas, whatever they have. So now we come to the next stage about the words which we have seen used in Gurbani. For Brahm, we use the word Gur, Satgur, and Prab, which has been repeated any number of times you could see. There's another word which we see normally, Pura Gur, Pura Satgur, and Pura Prab. They also come number of times. They are the indicators of Puran Brahm. And then there is a word Par Brahm, which comes with dulankards. Like Gur, Gur has come with an onkar in a Puran Brahm stage, and Par Brahm has come with the two onkars. It's increasing his ranking. It's the same word, but with every single entity onkar added, it's uh, putting it into a next spiritual stage. Satgur, then Pura Satgur, and Satguru. Prab, Pura Prab, and Prabhu. But normally, all the Tikakars read this onkar one as Guru, because in Hindi, you read this as Guru. Same way the word Prab with an onkar in the middle line is normally read as Prabhu, because in Hindi they read it like that. But in our language, we don't read it as a Prabhu, we read it as Prab. And a lot of time, or almost everywhere, the word Prab has been uh, translated as Prabhu, which is not, I think, in line to Gurmat. So now is the word, there's another word, special word, we have Vahaguru, which is only used by one person, which we'll take it later. Um, it should be a word like this because the way it is written, it shows that word Vah and Guru are independent. So if we say that even they are conjugated, we should have a word like Vahagur and Pura Vahagur. There is nothing like that. The only word we see is Vahaguru, and there are other substitutes, Shri Guru, Satguru. So this is a scenario which we have to keep in mind if we are trying to understand Gurbani, that even the words have been put in some special arrangement which we need to understand from within Gurbani. All right, this is one of the main themes which everyone quotes, that there's a word Vaheguru comes 13 times. This is by Pat Gayand on page number 1402 to 1404. I've just tried to put all his those shabads, their last lines. If you read the first one, Shri Guru Sahib Sab Upar Man Bach Kram Seviye Sacha. That's from where his context of Shri Guru starts. But he says Shri Guru, which they have has two independent words, is the supremest, and we need to serve him. That should be the ultimate aim. That's at 5 and 1402. Then there's another series starts. If you read Vahaguru, 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 Vahajio. So Vaha has been specially written to tell us that Vaha is a separate word to Guru. It is number 6, if you see. There's a special series starting 1, 6. Then there's another 2, 7. Then there's another Vahaguru there together, 3, 7. So I just want to emphasize that this whole composition has got this repetition coming. He starts with Shri Guru, and then in the 8th one, he says Satguru, Satguru, Satguru Gobindjiyo. Then in the 10th one, in the 9th one, he says that. In the 10th one, he says Shri Guru, Shri Guru, Shri Guru, Satjiyo. So then the next one, there is a gap. You see this 10, 11, 12, 13 is Vaha Vaha. Then he doesn't say the word Guru there. He uses the same word from, as you could see, the 6th one, Vahajiyo. He says Vaha Vaha ka vadda tamasha. So for at that stage, he's putting the word Vaha same as Guru. He's not writing Guru in that one. And in the last one, he says Kiya Khel Bad Mail Tamasha, Vahaguru Teri Sab Rachana. He's describing Vahaguru. The real theme is Sat Sach Shri Nivas Ad Purak Sada Tuhi. That's when he says Vahaguru, 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 Vahajiyo. Sat and Sach have to be together. Then you get Shri Nivas. Then you go into the higher stage, Puran Brahm. So looks like word Vahaguru has been used as a jas by Puran Brahm, not by Brahma towards Brahm. It's used by a Puran Brahm towards Par Brahm. And if you see, this is where it is. It starts almost halfway from the left of the page, the number 5, and it finishes in these 2 pages. The only Savaiyas written by Bhagat Patgayand are 13 Savaiyas, and then further, he has only written it for Mahalla Chotha. And if someone has read it in detail, it's only Mahalla Chotha is known as Sodi. There's no other Pasha known as Sodi. The whole explanation of why we use the word Vahaguru is actually in Dasam Granth when you read the first avatar. So these Savaiyas are further relating. These explanations are in Dasam Granth further. All right. Now, prosody is the rule of some matras which are not much researched so far, but we just need to understand that we have matras which are either Guru or Laghu, which are either bigger or smaller. Like Kanna is smaller, Onkar is 1. So that's why if you read all these things, you will see that in a 3-letter word, The matras could be 6, could be 3, could be 5, 5, 5, 4, 4, and then 4. So when you write the word Gosai, is using a 5, the addition of 5 in Pingal. But when we use the word Gopal, we are only using 4. It means none of these are the real names, but because of the poetry, he has to be very careful about which way the matras go. And this need to be researched more, but in Hindi literature, it has been researched more. I'll show you that. So one more thing which we come across is that all the divine names of Brahma are single words. Whichever names you read about Brahm, they're all single, but then it's Par Brahm and Parmeshwar are also single words. But when we read Vahguru, which is 13 plus 3 times, it is not considered as a single word. It is just two independent words. So that's why there's another objection to consider this as a Naam. And then there's another word which we use the most, even past any, you ask educated or uneducated Sikh, they love to use the word Paramatma, which has come from Vedanta. It has never been used. It means we love to use those words which are not in Gurbani, but we try to avoid those words which are within Gurbani. There is a word Paratma in Gurbani, which there is not much research done. And we think that Paratma is Paramatma, but no, it's not. Paratma is at a lower level. Paramatma, I don't know what it is. As for me, the Paramatma will be something with the lowest attributes, because Atma is lower and Paramatma means the one with the lowest. So that's why I think it never came in Gurbani. Now, if you see any of these, like Ramayana written, it is written with this aim that there has to be 13 plus 11 followed. You read all the Kabir's shloks from Bijak, they follow this rule of 13 plus 11. Very consistent in all their writing. Gurbani doesn't follow these rules, but still poetry will follow some rule which I think we haven't explored. There's another story who's ever read like Hindi like me. Bundele har bolon ke muh humne suni kahani thi. Khoob ladi mardani. This has a 30 rhyme going on. The whole poem, whether they have 20, 30, 40, 50, how many lines they will never let this rule of 30 matras break. Has to fit within this. Otherwise, it's not considered as a right. So rhyme is very important. Now let's come to we have taken the Kirtan Naam. Now the Gurbani Hari Naam Samaya. In whatever form I could see the Naam, it's in descriptive form. And within descriptive form, it tells us about self-aware, it makes us aware, improves our understanding towards our own self, it's about consciousness. So all these words, they maybe many more, they fit in the category that when Naam comes as a description, and Gurbani is as a description, when it says Hari Naam, Hari in itself is Naam. So what do you mean by Hari Naam? That is what we need to understand, that Naam ka naam is what? What does Gurmat means? Naam ka naam or Ram ka naam. So if we go further, we have been told like with these simple panktis, Gur Kirpa te bujya. The Gurbani has been given to us not just to read it or do Akhand parts or whatever has been done. We need to take a step further. We need to understand this. We need to really contemplate how it works, how the text is written, and which way it is taking us. But it says, if it's only Gurbani who says Sab Brahm Samaya, that's why Gurmat doesn't put 4 varans. There are people who says we have Veds, but how come the 4 varans have come into if you have this pankti in front? It means they're trying to tell us they have all these Veds and something, but you haven't recognized the Brahm, so you have got to answer itself. So Gur Kirpa is nothing but Gur Prasad, and Gur Prasad is nothing but Naam. Brahm is nothing but our own self, the ultimate reality of this universe. Then further, Japji says that these are just letters, and we have to understand from within letters what is meant to be understood. Akhri Naam, Akhri Salah, Akhri Gyan. This is all Gyan. Geet, Gun. So Naam is always related to Gun in Gurbani. Ga is a process of, in India, if you ask any villager, we used to take the wheat out of the husk, the grain out of the husk, because grain is the ultimate kernel or reality. So Gurbani is written, but we need to utilize our wisdom to take the real, the entity, the fruit out of. And the method is uh, contemplating, understanding Gurbani from within Gurbani. Now, we need to dig deep. That has been instructed. Ena akra mein jo gurmukh bujya. If we have understood these letters, words, shabads, pads, whatever, dopade, tepade, in the correct form as was written by the Bhagats, then and that we will take all the doubts out of our mind. Tissir lekhna hoi, he'll become a Puran Brahm. So we need to pay attention to the words and the way they're written and how we are relating our Brahm to them. So I've also seen that Naam is used a lot of time as a gun. Rakh pita pra mere, this is Man is saying to his mule, Mohi nirgun, that I have no virtues, sab gun tere. So, Hari Bisrat Tere Gun Galya. Whenever we leave his company, we get more demerits in us. Also, Naam is used as a spiritual wisdom, means Mat. Mohe Nirgun. Nirgun's problem is Mat Thodiya. His wisdom has gone to a very shallow level. So he need to improve it. That's what Gurbani will help us. So Mat, taking Mat is another form of accepting Naam. Naam removes all the merits, is said by Gurbani. Jin Hari, Hari Naam na chetyo. We have no other way to know about Hari. We have to only approach him through Hari Naam. So Auguna Vijay. So we need to follow these the way they have been said. And there's another important aspect that will take us to the next stage. Nanak chine aapko. Whosoever has researched, as Ripudaman was saying, Bande Khoj Dil Har Roj. This is what? So Aparapara, he becomes a Puran Brahm, who is infinite and incomparable. So this is also the effect of Naam on us. But how many different Naams we have? There are two different Naams. We'll take two or three examples here. Andin Naam Tyaya, Sahaje Naam Samai. Naam Samai. Means if you keep on contemplating on Naam through Jap and ask for more and more understanding, you keep the Dhyan in there, that something is gonna come at the next stage. Through Dhyan, we just get deeper and deeper into our Brahm, and then ultimately we just Janma hai, Brahm mein Jan, Janma hai Par Brahm. This Nami Samaya is the next Naam. This is the Naam who is running the whole show. So there are two Naams. There's a Harka Naam, and then there's a Naam Padarth, which is written in Gurbani, indicated a lot of times, but not much research. There's another Shabad, Laha Hari. What is the Laha to the Hari who has come into this Pav Sagar? Hari Naam Mile. That he should get the Hari Naam from Satgur. Sahaje Nami Sumai, and then when he's awake, it's only after that stage when he's fully awake that he go and merges into the Shabad Guru. So first stage is to accept that Harinam, Jap, and Jap, then contemplation, it becomes your Simran, it stays in your wisdom. The mind never goes into the trikuti to lose its energy. And then at that stage, when it's consistently staying in the Hirda, then he goes and merges into the big Nam. And there is also very clear indication as a metaphor, Bio Bij Pat Lagae, whosoever has planted an integrated seed within us. Ab kyunki dal, the ones who were not able to do this will come and suffer through all the incarnations again. So in conclusion about this Harika Naam, this is that conclusion what I could get, that Harika Naam is just to make the Brahm one. Integration of consciousness, oneness through Shabad Vichar. Then Naam Padarat is absorption of this integrated consciousness, the drop, into the Shabad Guru. Now, I'll just touch briefly about there is a confusion sometime that Bhai Gurdas War says that war from which this Shabad comes, the Jap Home Khoi, is actually 25 stanzas to it, Paudiyan. This is a war number 13 and has got 25 further stanzas. They all have one theme on the top. Gurchela, the one which we read is Peer to Peer Hona. And this war is like this. Gursikho Gursikh hai. This is what is written. If you read the Punjabi explanation, it is very different. And there's also an objection that the whole of this composition doesn't have the name of the writer. Whole of these wars, except on the first page, doesn't show who is the writer. This never happens in any poetry, especially in the eastern part of the world. The writer will mention his name somewhere. Even Kalyug, then there's another one. He says not only Vaheguru Guru Mantra, there's also a mention about Satnam is also a mantra. So it's pretty hard to conclude why was this thing said and how we'll conclude from there. Now this is another same explanation. If you want, I can send you. Doesn't make much sense if you read the Punjabi and then the English translation was done by someone. Now, if we consider that when was Bhai Gurdas born, this is from Wikipedia. He was born in 1551 and he died in 1636. Then we have Guru Tegh Bahadur, whose Gurbani is included in the Granth, which shows us that these dates, that he was born in 1621 and he left this world in 1675. So there's a good gap of about 36 and you can say about 40 years in these two, 39 years, if they have written 5 years before they left. So within 40 years, this is what is coming in front of us. This is what has been concluded by the ninth Mahalla in his shloks. The last shlok is very important. Actually, the whole Bani is important. But here he's indicating something. He says, Ram naam urme gayo jaake samne koi. There's nothing to do with anything else except Ram naam, which is described in Gurbani at length. Jai Simrat Sankat Mite. He hasn't mentioned anything about, looks like this is in more continuity with Gurbani than if we say that Vaheguru Guru Mantra Jab Home Khoi. This is overtaking because this was written later and was ultimately put by Dasam Pasha in this Bani. If we accept the other wars, then this thing come under contradiction. So he also says, Jo Sukh ko chahe sada, Shan Ram ki le, kaho Nanak sun re mana, Durlabh Manuk De. So all these indications are coming from the ninth Pasha, which has basically, as from my understanding, has basically overwritten all those wars because this is written 40 years later. This is more authentic to accept the truth than whatever we have been accepting from the wars. So this is the last slide. So here you will see that everything has been summarized. This is a shalok from Varante Vadik. Gurmukha Haritan Khatya. So this is from Harka Naam. Gurke Shabdi Vichar. The Vichar is important. Until we do the Shabd Vichar, we are not going to get the Naam. Naam Padarth Paya. Then the next stage, after finishing your jap, then the next stage is you're obtaining this Naam Padarth. Atut Paripandar. There is no discontinuity. There is always excess of that available. That only comes from Sachkhand because there is no Atutata there. Hari Gurbani Uchra. Now the Puran Brahm will again tell the same stuff from Gurbani. Like Guru Angad has written this Gurmukha Hartan Khatya. If Guru Angad has done this, Gurke Shabd Vichar, then he obtained the Naam Padarth and then he further, you can say, give us 63 shaloks. Nanak sab karan karta kare. We were responsible for our own faults. And if we started looking at them, we will be holding back to where we were before. It's only a state in which we are sleeping. If we wake up, we are where we were before. So Gurbani, the Naam, wakes us up. And once you wake up, you will find that you were in a sleep, and within a sleep there was a dream. When you come out of the sleep, your dream also goes, but you do remember what happened in the dream. So that's where I'll conclude. Ji Vaheguru Ji ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji ki Fateh.
Waheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Waheguru Ji Ki Fateh Ji. Thank you very much, Veer Ji, Gurjeet Singh Ji. So let's get around to the Q&A part of this presentation. Let me start with you, Chetan Deep, since I see you right to the left of my screen.
Anji Virji, Gurjeet Virji, a lot of moving parts to the presentation, very long, and it would help if you can share the slides so that we can go over it again. It has a lot of depth and a lot of concepts. But if you can go to the slide, I think fourth or fifth slide, that is labeled as conclusion. If you can show that page, I think it's in the beginning, fourth or fifth slide.
Is it this one?
Is it this one? Yes. Right. So my question about this particular slide is, like you mentioned, and you mentioned time and again in the presentation, that Jap is basically we need to understand Gurbani from within Gurbani using the technique of Shabad Vichar, and you call it, this is the Jap. And so my question to you is that, at least to me, this definition doesn't seem a very universal way for every human being. So can you elaborate on that?
No, whenever we means whenever we study, whenever you have educated yourself, what technique have we used from like nursery to even your masters? We were given a lesson which we study, and then there were question and answers towards the end, which were checking that how much have we understood. So I think so. Gurbani doesn't have that sort of means it's not a lesson of, but it's quite similar. That there is some text given, and what is our understanding out of that text. So that's how I take it. That anything which you want to change your wisdom, you have to read and contemplate on that, and then share it with others. That do I understood it the right way? So because there are indications, as Kabir ji says, Koho Kabir ab janya. Means now I understood who I am, because Kabir ji was in association with other people, but he says they didn't give me much sort of spectrum. But when he goes to Maghar and then he writes this, he says, Koho Kabir ab janya, means now I have known the truth. Now I have understood what the reality of Brahma is. Jab janya to man manya. From there, then I put the pressure on my mind, my wisdom, that you have to accept this is the only fact which you have to accept. So where are you think that understanding is not a part of educating yourself?
Anji Veer Ji, Chetan Deep, I'm not sure if that was your question. If it wasn't, then maybe you need to rephrase it.
Yeah, maybe I should rephrase this in terms of, like, not everybody on this earth, all human beings don't have access to Guru Granth Sahib Ji or Gurbani. But when Gurbani uses the term Naam Japna and Man should merge into the Mool, it has to be a universal process, equally applicable to all human beings. And they have to do Naam Japna, everybody, irrespective of if they have access to Gurbani or not. So that's what I was trying to understand, how everybody can do Shabad Vichar, even people who do not have access to Guru Granth Sahib Ji.
Every faith has got some sort of, you see, if you read Ved Kadev Kaho Mat Jhoothe, Jhootha Jo Na Bichare. This is in the whole world. The faiths have been spread through, written texts, verbal texts. The history of faiths is as old as the history of mankind, because man has been perplexed by the nature. He will be asking questions. This has all been there right from the very beginning. You don't need, you just only need, if you read all the four lamas, you see the first and second lama do says about written text, and second one says about a Satgur who knows it. But the last two lamas doesn't say, they say somehow if you have got, if you have developed a curiosity for that, you will get an answer one way or the other. He will make an arrangement. So it's only for those people who want to. Guru Angad had a curiosity, but he was not able to see Guru Nanak for a long time. Means historically too, Guru Amar Das was born before Angad, but he didn't had a time that time to come and see Guru Nanak, but he only saw Guru Angad. So same way, I think so. There are, if you are curious, then some arrangements will be made. It depends upon how curious we are towards what is happening around us.
Thank you, Ji. So, Chetandeep, I think what is being said is that when the student is ready, the guru will appear, the method will appear somehow. So, with that, let me move on to Eileen. Eileen, would you like to comment, or if you have a question?
Yes, I mean, I think I'm in a similar position as Jaden G, where I sort of am trying to absorb a lot of the material, but one of the questions, I guess, that overall is in comparison to the experiential idea. Virgil, how do you take the analysis that you're showing of Gurbani, and then in sort of the structure and the message and kind of unpacking that message, and then go to the next step? Is it something that you find instruction on in Gurbani, or just is to say just study, whatever that means, just study, right? Because it seems like there's sometimes there's a gap between just analyzing Gurbani and just looking at the word structure and looking at the meaning versus taking the message away to experience it. And how do you make, just asking kind of for your thoughts, since you do this, how do you take that and get out of your head and get out of the analytic side to do the personalizing and experiencing?
I think it's because Gurbani is written by those people who are in connection with the Shabad. And the Shabad knows what are the faults within the Jeeves. The Puran Brahm as such understand the whole psyche of us. And I think they have given instructions from that point of view. The main instruction is only one instruction if we can follow. You don't need to hold. I think I did that with you. That we have to remove our karta. We think that we are the doers in this game, whereas things are done through me. If we can just understand one pankti, it just relates to something else, and it's all in the end will relate to one thing, that I am not a creator. I'm not the big power running the show. There is someone else who is running the show, and let me be part of the system. Let me not, you can say, I can't go against the system, first of all. I have no capacity. But that very thought within my mind to do it is putting me away. I am just delaying my mukti. That can be done even without reading. If we understand just this, that there is a massive system being run, and we need to be part of that system without a complaint. And for that, you need only to educate your mind. That's what Gurbani says in the end. It just comes out to be a part of that system without complaint. Everything will be basically automatically achieved. That's what I understand. The whole aim is just to reach one goal, that I'm not the doer. There is someone who's a doer. I'm a part of the system. Let me be part of a system. Follow the system without any objections. So that's what I think is the ultimate message in the end.
Well, Virgie, does this help you? I mean, does the structural like thought process that you go through as you look at the structure of Gurbani, does it help you do that in your
If you
own life? Do
if
you
you
find
dig
that
it
to be true?
deep, yeah, if you dig it deep, then you will only reach at this conclusion that we have a like a little. There's a Ram Leela in India. I don't know whether you've seen it. Goes for 10 days. All right. And there is one person who was from a village. He watched it and someone asked him, "What did you learn?" He says, "The story was very, very short that someone took someone's wife and he go and damaged his house. But how come it took you 10 days to tell this simple thing?" So this is how it works. In the end, the message is very concentrated that I have to take my karta. The mind always think that he is supreme.
Mm,
We can subdue the mind. Whichever method you choose, one shabad, half a pankti, full pankti, that doesn't mean anything. It's ultimately, it's all said just to remove, I think, that ill feeling within us. That is our durmat when we think. And when we slowly tune it to a stage that, no, I'm not the karta. There's a karta purkh doing something for me. That being a nice son, I just follow the system.
mm.
That's, I think, the whole aim in the end. It only comes to that. After reading, grammar, this and that, whatever I told you, it ultimately comes to whether I accept the Naam as a supreme. That if Naam is supreme, then there is no even need to do Ardas. He also know what the Ardas is. What I am understanding, there are shabads, he says, क्या मुँह कीजिए अरदास. Yeah, he knows everything what is going inside me. Why I'm doing these things? It means there is some lack of understanding. The whole
Mm.
path will change from there.
Okay, I think that helps a lot. Thank you, Ji.
Thank you, Veji. Hanji, Ranavirji, you're on next.
Gurjeet Vijay, thank you very much for a very comprehensive and detailed presentation. I think we all have to, at least I have to, go over that and spend more time and perhaps come back with some questions and comments. For timing, my quick observation is you indicated one thing which has been in my mind, which when I use or think about the Naam, it is uh, uh, same as synonymous with the word haras, namras. The word ras basically to me is a reflection of a sense. And you said that Shabad Vichar, through Shabad Vichar, I think this is the same slide, Shabad Vichar, you get a sense of Gurbani. If you refer the sense of Gurbani, then where is all Puran Brahm and Par Brahm? Where is Akal Purakh? Gurbani is Akal Purakh, then you are saying if you take a sense of Gurbani, it is same as a sense of Akal Purakh. So that's one thing where I need some clarification. But then as Eileen was asking the question, in front of me there is one Gurbani tuk, Khojat Khojat Bahu Parkare, Sarv Arth Bichare, Saad Sang Paramagat Paiye, Maya Rachbant Hare. And all this research, what we are doing, which you have done very well, is it Guru Sahib is saying that there's a much simpler way of developing that connection with the Kalpurk through Sasangat, or we have to do so much research to understand, as you say, this is Jap, or can we find a simpler way of doing it, connecting with the Kalpurk? I'll just leave it here for time.
I think with this Sadh Sangat doesn't mean anything outside. The Sadh Sangat is within me. I have to connect to a Sadh, that's to do his Sangat. And Gurbani just tell me to do that. Because whenever I'm reading something else, I might be just, looking for how to expand myself. And whereas Gurbani says how to contract yourself from Maya. So this is quite difficult if you understand, but we normally think that Sadh Sangat is done outside. But everything is within me. If you say, I'm a son, from son I have to become a father and grandfather. But they don't marry you until you're at a certain age. So this is same thing here. Until we attain that next stage of knowledge, we are not gonna get the third stage. So it's a gradual, constant process, which ultimately, once you get into a habit of jap to jap, and then a jappa jap is, then your mind is stable. Then you don't need to do it. It's only the initially you have to go through that because we have been following a very wrong system. It takes a while to come to the, from reverse to neutral. That's the worst part which we have to do. Once you are there, then I think it becomes easy, because there are so many factors which are stopping our mind from changing a path of the world through which everyone walks. A simple story, you say, Guru Nanak refused the Janeu. How hard would have that been practically? I don't think so. I'll let my son do that. So these things have happened in the past. It's not easy to change the path of mind, but those who have done, they say, we just admire them. So everything is done at your level. We have to change ourselves through this text. Akal Purakh is me, myself. But now I'm sleeping Akal Purakh. I can be a, enlightened Akal Purakh. So there's nothing to be coming from outside. Only removing layers will take me to a further enlightenment, and ultimately back to the ocean. That's how I see it.
Okay, Ji, I'll just pass it on. Yeah, for
Ji.
time being, anyways. Yeah.
Thank you, Ji. Hanji, Prapreet Singh Ji.
Hanji Viji, thank you for a very detailed presentation, and I am at least grappling with most of the slides. Lot of information and content for me. One thing I just wanted to follow up with the discussion Eileen was having with you, and where you responded that in a nutshell that we have to realize that we are not the karta, and that will be mukti for us. So it kind of hits me then, while I accept what you said, if that is what the target is, then what about the entire human development model, the entire story of evolution and progress, and how humans have evolved over generations and over thousands and thousands of years, which we call progress, which we call evolution, which we call development, where we have organized ourselves in societies, in urban settlements, and done so much innovation and creativity. Does that model flip on its head if we just have to go back? Are all of these names just misnomers, and it's not evolution and progress? It is moving away from the real, the par brahm, and becoming more and more karta every day and moving further away? And is it just that the lesser developed, the so-called lesser developed animals who do not have such a sense of self that we have are closer to the karta than we are? Are we just moving further away, or we are moving in the right direction? Where does it the human development lead to? That's my question.
As per Gurbani, whatever my understanding is that all the animal lives has been considered better from one perspective, that they have grown a step further towards mukti. We are all going towards mukti, and being a human, this is the last step. We are standing on the last step to go on to the, whether we slip down from there or we go up is all within my own capacity. They say na, sagal joon teri panhari, is dharti pe teri sikdari, that you are blessed with the supreme wisdom. But then when you have a supreme wisdom, there are more chances of slipping, which we have done. If human beings had asked for more that we need to live an easy life. They have been given all this technology, and all the development is only done through Parmeshwar, but we were begging for it. Someone would have been asking, he got it. But as Virji said, that when you are ready for the mukti, he is ready to give us that. So far, we are much more into economy. And Gurbani says, Kachatan Sanche Murgavar, but still, we think that this will make us more peaceful. In my experience, um, we were much satisfied 20 or 30 years ago when I have seen than what we are now. We think we are going more towards progress, but I don't think so. The progress is in taming the mind, not in exploding the mind. We need to live with minimum demands, which I mean, look at Guru Nanak's time. They how much demands they had, and they still at that time kings were living like that, which he has mentioned, and the Bhagats have been always living with the minimum. So the whole idea is that there is a progression from lower junis, as Gurbani says, but they have got very limited wisdom and they don't go left and right. Whosoever is eating grass is keep on eating grass and keep on giving milk. Whosoever is put in that pyramid like a tiger to eat an animal, he's doing it. We don't say that he's doing any pun or pap, but he's progressing because he's following the hukum. He has no um, uh, wisdom like ours, that he has got a sharp thinking that can I disobey this. So human lives as such, we need to get closer to the hukum, which the animal lives is much more closer to the hukum. I think they are totally in the hukum. That's why they are coming up. We are on the last step. We have to be extra conscious. We are much more getting into the progress within Maya than the progress within our spirit. So I think they should go hand in hand. The progress in Maya is not doing anything bad. If this progress was not there, I would have never known you. I would have never been able to be in your contact. We are all sitting because of this. But at the same time,
No,
who is
I mean,
using it? Hani?
yeah, sorry to interject you. Then the question arises. I mean, do we really need to know each other? If we can just be there, technology which is connecting us, and we are thinking that this is helping us, but could it be that even this is not required?
No, means it is helpful. If you're using anything, has two uses to it, there's a use to anything or a misuse to anything. We are using it in the right sense. Maybe this is the way it was designed, that if one day Guru Nanak or whatever who has written a Gurbani law on how easy it is to search and look for the things now, maybe he already knew that the future age will be something like that. But the whole idea is whether we are using it for our use, whether we are using this technology to subdue our mind, or we are trying to use it to, explore further and waste our time. And the whole life goes just in this, and we don't try to look within us. So that's what I think.
Sure.
It is a good time that
Thank
we
you.
can do it better.
We have Ripu Daman Singh for the last question. Ripu Daman, it's yours.
Thank you, Virji. Thank you, Virji. Very, very interesting presentation and awesome questions. First of all, both the experiential and the analytical aspects, for some reason, in my brain, the two kind of merged. I don't see them as separate at all. Virji, when you were talking about the poetic form and all that, right? That one was the point that you were making, was that the words that you were that you were showing us, the various forms of Naam, Gur, and others, they change as per the poetic meter. So sometimes the matra is increased or dropped as per the meter, and therefore we should not take the word at the face value with which it's written. We have to interpret it in context of the poetry. Is that what you meant?
Anjiviji, the whole idea was that if we choose a particular word, that word would have been used, as you say, for maintaining a meter. In the next meter, the other word comes in. Because of the poetry, we have so many names. There are now a fashion of getting minimum 99 names for everyone. They have found 99 names for Muhammad. There are, I think, 108 for Jesus. Our aim in the Vedic literature was to keep the rhyme going. So we have to use this word out of that sort of necessity, that we are using all these words because they are meaning. The word ultimately means either of the four stages of Brahm, but different words. So, but none of them is representing, you can't use a particular word to represent him. There is a, means a big plethora of words which can be used to express the same person, the same personality.
So, Viji, maybe my question was that would the matra be extended or dropped to fit the meter? Not just that the word was changed.
Yeah, it will be. Like
Okay.
if you have to use a pingal with 5 matras, like this is much more obvious if you see this one. This will never break a rule of matra. This which I put you here. This is from Ramcharitmanas, whole of Ramayana by Tulsi, written with this scheme. If there's a doha, this matra. If there's a chopai, that matra. Although Gurbani doesn't follow that strict rule, but it does follow some rule which we haven't researched. This one particularly followed the rule. Otherwise, it won't be considered as a poetry of that level. So I think so that's one aspect also going on with names, that there is a name to describe has been either elongated or shortened. One of the aspect is rhythm, I think so.
Yeah. So, thank you, Viji. I just have one comment here that ultimately, obviously, it has to end up in experience and all, right? And if we call ourselves Gursikh, then we are listening to the Guru's words in some shape or form. But for me, those words are removed by 500 years. And when I read them, they present a meaning to me, great. And when I get confused, I have to go to the second level of support structure, which is analysis, grammar, poetry, or whatever it is, to figure out that, well, I am confused. I have multiple options that I can pick up the meanings, and some of those meanings are opposite. Which one actually is the Guru saying? And then I can go on to the experiencing of that of that. So that's where I in my life try to take support of analysis or grammar or whatever it is.
But there are a lot of historical things in Gurbani which we have not understood because we haven't understood. Gurbani is not only for us. Gurbani is also for those people who has lived in that Vedic age and then has further made stories so that you can make them understand too. There is also another very strong historical aspect of Gurbani, which we sometimes we think like Bahang Pang Machli Surapan Jojo Prani Khai. So that's a historical aspect of people living beyond Ganges. They're not from this side of Ganges, no one do that. On the other side of Ganges, people used to do that. And sometimes we want to answer this, that what is happening this. It may be that this is associated with something which we are missing in connection. So there are also a lot of things like that too within Shabads. What has been said, and means it's really, it's a very wide spectrum from which we are trying to understand these things.
Thank you, Viji.
Anji, thank you, Ji. We are running out of time, unfortunately. Lots of open-ended questions were raised today that I think we may revisit sometime in the future. Very interesting. And so let the discussions continue for now. Thank you very much. Waheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Waheguru Ji Ki Fateh.
Waheguru Ji Ki Fateh Ji.